Bonjour, mes amis. I hope you're well. I'm joining you from Paris today. Today, I want to talk to you about a subject that has been on my mind for so long. And I'm feeling a lot of energy about it because it's bothered me for quite a while. And I thought, how do I broach this subject? Because it's really, I think, very sensitive. And I want to handle it carefully. But we need to discuss it because it's something I face every day. Welcome to Generate Her. I'm Jane Bertch. I spent the first half of my life working in a corporate organization, and then I decided to trade that all in to become an entrepreneur. Yes, here in your favorite city of Paris, France. And today, I hope I'm a guide on your journey to personal reinvention and transformation. Here we go. I'm not French. There we are. Nor am I intending to be. That doesn't mean I don't love living here. Haven't always loved living here. If you've read my memoir, you'll know that was a bit of a rocky start. But I've come to love living here, and I've come to love and appreciate so many things about the French culture. And in doing that, I've had to love and appreciate me and my differences. And I'm okay being Jane from Chicago who lives in Paris, even after 20 years. I'm not trying to be French. That doesn't mean I don't try to understand and accept the cultural codes. That doesn't mean I'm not learning every day. That doesn't mean that I don't appreciate and love this extraordinary culture that I've had the privilege of living in. It just means that I've accepted that I am who I am. And the reason it bothers me is because I feel like we've created a whole industry around making women feel bad about themselves because they're not enough of one thing or another. And I hear that about being French, whether it's how to tie your scarf like a French woman or how to walk like a French woman, or here's their new handbags, or this is how they do their updo. You know, it's nice to learn, and it's nice to glean off wonderful things and create this mosaic of this beautiful person that you are that incorporates lots of different cultures. But it's okay not to be French. And the moment I accepted that, I actually fit in better here. And more than that, I've realized that that was always my sweet sauce or my secret power or whatever you want to call it. Because I was not French, I didn't have to respond to the same cultural codes. I tried to respect them and know them, but if I made a gaffe, people didn't hold me accountable. Because I'm not French and I'm this gal from Chicago that dared to open a cooking school, maybe people took pity on me. Maybe they said, my God, let's try to help her out. Because I'm not French, I didn't have to wait for a formal introduction to meet somebody that I needed to meet. I could kind of creep in and apologize for not handling things the way maybe a local would have. And they'd laugh it off and accept me in. So I'm very okay with being American. And I'm very okay with loving France at the same time. And you know, sometimes I'm sick of all of them. I'm sick of Americans, and I'm sick of America, and I'm sick of French, and I'm sick of France. But isn't that how we treat things we love and we know intimately? We can see the blemishes and still love them. So being French is always something that has worried me. And even though I've overcome the wanting to be French, and I just am not, and I don't care, and I'm happy with where I am in my little world, I see this whole industry around making women feel like they have to be a certain way, and that bothers. Having said that, I want you to grab your pen and paper, maybe push pause if this is the moment. I'm about to give you the secrets to being French. So I want you to write them down carefully. I'm about to tell you exactly how to be French. Forget the magazines. Forget the blog posts. No need to scroll Instagram. right here, right now, how to be French. You ready? It's 20 years in the making that I've learned this, and I'm going to share it with you. Number one, you want to be French? The Frenchiest French thing you can do, love yourself and be comfortable in your skin. Number one, love yourself and be comfortable in your skin. My friends that are French do just that. It doesn't mean they don't believe in self-improvement, but they're so very happy and confident with who they are. They're not trying to be somebody else. This doesn't mean they don't have role models and enjoy scrolling Instagram and want that new purse they see. But it's because they love it. It's not because they're trying to be a different version of something. And I can tell you categorically, the friends that I have that are French, they love the US. They love anything Brooklyn. But do I see them picking up books and magazine articles about how to be American? Are they obsessed with how American women are wearing their hair or what new shoe they're wearing this season? No. They're very happy to be themselves. And even if they lived in the US, guess what? They're still going to call themselves French because they're very happy to be in their own skin. So that's my first rule for you. If you want to be French, wear your skin with pride. Walk around like a peacock. That's how you're going to be French. Number two, be cultured. I'm embarrassed with how little I know about the arts compared to my French friends. You want to be French? Pick up culture magazines, understand art, go to the theater, go to museums regularly. They consume the arts like no other people I know. That's how you're going to be French. I wish I had their appetite and drive to consume culture. I wish I understood all of the philosophers in the world like my French friends do. I wish I could look at a piece of art and say, well, that was such and such, but clearly at a different time period because you can see from their brushstrokes. These are things that my French friends can do. That's their Frenchness. They love culture. Number two, you want to be French, be cultured, understand the world around you. That's the Frenchest thing you can do. Number three, I talked about this in my book slightly. Don't be so darn apologetic. Don't be so darn apologetic. Now, this is a careful one. There's a difference between self-aware and then just darn right not lacking. There's a difference between self-awareness and not having confidence. You don't have to apologize for every darn thing. This doesn't mean be, a difficult person that is afraid to say sorry. It just means own the sorry when it's the appropriate time. I will also say, there's a book I read ages ago. It's a book my first manager gave me. This was in Tampa, Florida. I cannot remember the name of the author, but the book is Lions Don't Need to Roar. And so when I say don't be so darn apologetic, it makes me think of that. It makes me think of wear a bit of confidence on how you carry yourself. You don't have to bow down. You don't have to feel that you're grateful to be in the room. You belong there. And this is something that my French friends do very well. They assume that they belong at the table and they own it. They're not overly grateful and thankful to be there. Number 4, take pride in your appearance. Take pride in your appearance. And this doesn't mean you have to wear heavy makeup and heels every day. Quite the contrary. If you've been to Paris, that does not happen. But you will see that there is a sense of personal pride in how people go out every day. And I think that is wonderful. At the same time, I find it oppressive if I just want to run to the grocery store in my sweatpants. I do think twice. Having said that, I believe that there is a wonderful, thoughtful process in looking my best, not just for others, but for myself. So I find that my French friends are very thoughtful in their purchases around their clothing. They're very thoughtful in how they carry themselves. They're very thoughtful in how they present. So take pride in your appearance. And again, it's not just your clothing. It's the confidence of how you wear it. Number 5. And this is just kind of a funny one, but it has to be said. My French friends have inside voices and outside voices. And the French master the art of an inside voice. And that means your inside voice is the one that the person just in front of you can hear. Or maybe if you're 4, the 3 other people in front and beside can hear. People outside of that little bubble cannot hear your discussion. They can't hear it. That's inside voice. I have had to learn to practice that because I can have outside voice indoors, and that's not nice for anyone, particularly in a dining situation or a quiet reception room or a store. Nobody needs to hear Jane's conversation. So this is something my French colleagues practice very well. The inside voice and the outside voice. You want to be French? Master your inside voice. And when you're outside, go crazy. You can scream and yell and talk loud, but inside voices are for restaurants. They are for buses. They're for trains, planes, anywhere where you're sharing the space with others. You want to be respectful to not overwhelm them with you. Speaking of overwhelming people with you, you want to be French, be discreet. There is a beautiful quote, and I'm going to summarize it. And it's from a French writer. And he says, the more we become successful, the more we become timid. And this is him talking about the French culture. The more we become successful, the more we become timid. And I think that's an important understanding. And if I loop back to Lions Don't Need to Roar, I have seen this in my French friends talking about money is vulgar, talking about success is vulgar. And by the way, they will rarely use the word success, and even rarer will they refer to it when talking about themselves. That's for others to decide as they look in, or for their private musings on how they feel. I've never heard anyone in my network that is a French local beat their chest about how great they are. They don't have to. The way they carry themselves will tell you what they think of themselves. Another one. Number 7. Treat your friends like family. You want to be French, treat your friends like family. It's very hard to make friends here. You've heard that, but it's not impossible. It's absolutely not impossible. But when you have them, there are high expectations. There are high expectations that these are the people that can call you and you can call them at 3 a.m. They will be in your life forever. If you want to be French, you need to show up big time for your relationships. This also means you can't have 1,000. And that I've come to appreciate. I've never been somebody that's had 1,000 friends. I'd rather have 4 quarters than 100 pennies. But the friendships I have come to love are deep. And that requires work and thought for me. And I've sat with that because I've had so many distractions in my life here, particularly when you're a business and you're managing lots of things and you're an entrepreneur. You can't be perfect in all elements. And I haven't been a perfect friend. I've let that take a sideline. But I realize if you want to be French and have French friends, you can't. And I'm very happy to spend my time there and allocate it appropriately. Number 8, respect and take time seriously. You want to be French, you need to revere time. And what do I mean? That means you need to love it, and you need to know it's fleeting. And therefore, taking time for a coffee with a friend is sacred. Taking time to have a meal is sacred. Taking time to make decisions is sacred. Taking time to enjoy your life outside of work is sacred. So on balance, I think that is extremely healthy. The notion of time and how important it is. And of course, taking time to build relationships. So there we are, friends. There you have it. It's not a cream. It's not a scarf. It's not how you wear your shoes. It's about life. And it's about your view on life and what you value and what you find important. And if all of those make me French, and I'm living up to all of those the best way I can, I'm being cultured, I'm being a good friend, I respect time, I take care of myself, I'm happy being me. If that's what it takes to be French, then I'm happy to try to be French after all. I'd love to know what you think. So thank you, mes amis, for joining Generate Her. Always happy to have you here. Don't forget, if you love to journal, I have journal prompts on my website. You can find those at janebertch.com/journal. And if you'd ever like to join me in Paris, keep an eye on my website, janebertch.com/retreats. I'm working on creating a wonderful community for women that want to improve and develop. And perhaps maybe cover some of those topics that we talked about being French. So until next time, mes amis, take care of yourself.